What we put on our skin is so important because the skin is the largest organ of the body. So please give a warm welcome to the founder and visionary of the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics and the author of this fantastic book, Not Just a Pretty Face, Miss Stacy Malkan.
Well, I am so happy to be here with all of these fabulous speakers today talking about what I think is one of the most important questions of our times, and that is how can we prevent cancer? So who here, raise your hands if, like me, you used more than, say, 10 personal care products already today. Shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, lotion, shaving cream, toothpaste, soap.
Well, I'm usually more natural, but I'll raise my hands anyway.
So what's in this stuff that we're all putting on our faces, rubbing in our hair, putting in the bathtub with our children? That's a question that my colleagues and I at the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics have been looking very deeply into over the last decade. So what we found is that unfortunately many of the products that we put on our bodies, not just makeup, but deodorants, lotion, even baby shampoos, commonly contain chemicals linked to cancer, as well as hormone disruptors, chemicals that are toxic to the skin, chemicals linked to asthma, allergies, and other health problems that have been increasing quite dramatically in recent decades. We did a study recently looking at dozens of top-selling children's bubble baths, baby shampoos. We found that many of them contained not just one, but two carcinogens, formaldehyde and also 1,4-dioxane. And neither of those chemicals were listed on the label. And the companies reacted. They did not say, no, those chemicals are not in our products. They did not say, no, those chemicals are not carcinogens. They said, well, it's just low levels. The second issue is that there's no safety testing required. Companies don't have to understand the health effects of low levels of carcinogens repeatedly daily on a baby's body in the tub.
Down.
How much is too much? What should I really worry about for cosmetics?
I think it's important to just kind of look at what you use most. What do you put all over your body every day? For example, lotions. What do you use in the bathtub every day? Those are the products that we're often getting the most exposures from. So I think it's really important to look at those daily products, and also some of the things we can do to easily reduce toxins, some of the more toxic treatments, hair treatments, hair dyes, hair relaxers, perms tend to be more toxic, and so I think it's important to reduce. You may want to, if you still get your hair done, take breaks, take a walk, especially for people who work in salons, and just reduce, I think, is an overall smart thing to do, and especially, I have to say, especially if you're pregnant, especially with small children around. It's important to be looking at those products.
And by the way, if you go to trashcancer.org, you will also see the good guide. So there'll be a whole list of products that you can see what you may be using and figure out if it's something that is high in carcinogens or low in carcinogens, and whether or not our good guide recommends the product that you're normally using. So go on to trashcancer.org and learn more about that as well. Anybody else have a question?
Yeah, Stacy, I'm really concerned. I'm a single dad, and I have a little girl. She's growing up. How do I make sure that she has the right cosmetics? What do I do? I mean, what's the best way for me to do it?
I think this is one of the most important questions. How can we teach the young ones? And young girls especially are so interested in the beauty industry, and I think it's important to have conversations with them about how the messages that we receive from the beauty industry are not always healthy, and the chemicals in their products are not always healthy. But these databases like the Good Guide, I think, are really empowering tools for young girls, and they really like them. They like to be on the computer. They're so used to research and just finding out the information about what's in the products and really learning that they have to take it upon themselves to do that research, not listen to what the companies are telling them, what the advertising's saying, but really letting them know that they're in charge of their own health and their own choices. So I think having all these conversations with young girls and also young boys is so important.
You know, I had a boyfriend that was using like XXX antiperspirant, and I said, sweetie, I'm a health advocate. You cannot use that. And he says, but I sweat. And I said, well, you know, more and more men are getting breast cancer. If you feel yourself perspiring, go to the men's room and wash your pits. He looked at me like I had two heads, but meanwhile, he switched.
It's all about making the right choices.
Yeah, it's all about making choices and knowing that we have a choice.
The power of good old-fashioned all-American consumerism speaks loudly with our manufacturers, our trusted brands that we might have grown up with. I never met a manufacturer that actually wanted to kill you. I never met an elected official that didn't want to be reelected. So, you know, if you just make your desires known and you become proactive, you follow Stacy, you follow Cancer Schmancer, a change can happen.
So recently I've been going out a lot lately. And so my main concern is about sunblock. How often should I put it on?
We've done a lot of research into sunscreen to learn that not only is some of it toxic, but a lot of it doesn't work the way they say that it works. And so it's really important to look at what sunscreens are effective as well as the least toxic. And there's a great report by Environmental Working Group on that topic where you can look up, they analyzed 500 sunscreens and looked at which are the ones with the least toxins that also have the highest protection value. So there are some really great brands out there.
Now, I've been told, and I kind of follow this, maybe you can corroborate this, that the sunblock has to be either zinc-based or titanium-based, and any other chemicals usually is not as healthy for you to put on your skin.
Yes, and I also think you don't have to wear sunscreen all the time. So, you know, I wear it when I go to the beach when I'm spending long periods of time in the sun, but also just covering, staying out of the sun during the hottest hours. I think those are also important to keep in mind.
I was wondering if it was true that there's lead in lipstick.
Yes, unfortunately it is true, and this is one of the big projects we worked on at the Campaign for Safe Cosmetics. In 2007, we tested a bunch of lipsticks and found out that all of them contained lead. And lead, of course, is a very potent neurotoxin, also linked to reproductive effects. So it's important to reduce lead from any source. And I think this really raises that there are two things to be thinking about. First, of course, is the power of our purse and just making choices to not buy the toxic products and to support companies that are supporting our values of life and health. And secondly, we also have to use our power of politics. It's so important that our voices be heard in that process and that we participate and let our representatives know that
They work for us.
And we demand safe products.
That's right.
One question. All the women I know wears mascara. How dangerous is that?
Well, mascara isn't one of the things I worry about the most because it's not really going on our skin, but the eyes, of course, are a very sensitive part of the body, and mascara is one of the products that we've found where some companies are using chemicals that are banned in Europe, petroleum distillates. That's definitely something to avoid. But in the scheme of things, I think it's one of the lesser concerns.
Well, that's a relief. Who else has a question?
I do.
Judy. Okay, go ahead.
Even though Esther is enjoying the fact that I have nails right now, I am curious about acrylic nails. I've had acrylics for about, I don't even know how, since I'm 16. So I wonder how bad that is for you.
Well, acrylics are not the best. The glues do have some toxins in them. And, nail polishes overall, it can be one of the most toxic types of products, although they have gotten better. We did get many companies to take out formaldehyde and dibutyl phthalate out of their nail polishes. So those are definitely chemicals to avoid in nail polish. Formaldehyde, toluene, dibutyl phthalate, and acetone. And there are some exciting new developments in nail polish too with water-based nail polishes. They actually don't smell like anything. So it's like a whole new experience in nail polish.
So what are you going to do, Judy? Well, just tell us.
We get to make the choices for ourselves, about what we want to expose ourselves to or don't, and maybe make reductions in other areas. Like I like to tell people, just simplify. Choosing products with fewer chemicals, avoiding reducing synthetic fragrance, I think, is important, and then just using fewer products overall. Like, the companies love to make us think we need a different lotion for every part of the body or a different cleaning product for every room in the house, when just one high quality, safe product, you know, would be great.
Stacy, I can't thank you enough for coming here and being such a wonderful expert at my trash cancer party. And I encourage you all to read this book, Not Just a Pretty Face, by Stacy Malkan, safecosmetics.org, and check out the Environmental Working Group too. All wonderful resources that cover a variety of different products that we bring into our home on a daily basis.